Hello and welcome to Different Perspectives, where we explore bold ideas and the individuals behind them. I am Paul Diho. In a world filled with constant headlines and quick takes, it's easy to believe we have the complete picture. But what if we are only seeing one side of the story? Today we are highlighting Aya Zahanini, a 27-year-old Moroccan angel investor who is investing in Africa's future by supporting startups before they attract global attention. From launching her own company at age 18 to now investing her own time and money into emerging founders across the continent. Aya is part of a generation that is changing how innovation is funded in Africa. Her journey exemplifies grit, resilience, and vision. Proof that you don't have to wait until you are wealthy or a well-established to make a difference. Aya Zahanini, welcome to Different Perspectives.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Paul, for having me.
A lot of young people across Africa talk about you as the next big philanthropist or in terms of trying to invest in young startups across Africa. Let me start there. How did you get into this business of investing into young startups in Africa?
Thank you, Paul. I'm actually honored to even be called like that, because it's kind of a long route that we have, and we will be having it, together with a lot of young entrepreneurs and startups around Africa. So I've started as an entrepreneur myself. I think I was 18 at the time. I founded a startup. I went to Nigeria to pitch. I remember I went to the TechCrunch event and also to the UNDP event that was held in Lagos in 2018. I had a lot of fun. Obviously, the startup is no more because of some issues that I had as an early stage entrepreneur with some early stage investors, but that encouraged me more to be on the investor side, not on the entrepreneur side. So once I was done, for my entrepreneurship journey, I joined a venture capital fund that was focused on the Middle East and Africa region. I got trained into venture capital and investments, and I'm quite honored and happy to be working with really great investment professionals, around the world, and they're really motivating me to keep going forward. So even though I went out from venture capital for a while, I still wanted to keep my connection with entrepreneurs because we really had a great connection. Especially since I was, around their age, we were really talking, having a lot of brainstorming sessions, which I really appreciate. I started, investing on my own account. So far I have a portfolio of 6. I'm signing a couple more soon. And that's actually my journey.
A lot of people would say, where did you get even the money to invest? At 24 years, you're just beginning a career or trying to, to find a job. You, in your particular case, where do you get the money to start investing in some of these startups?
Actually, it makes sense. Yeah, we are starting our career, but so investment for me is a goal. It's a financial goal. So what I do is that I get a job whenever I want to invest. So I started as an advisor. I currently advise the GIZ size investment readiness program focused on agriculture and food tech around Africa. And what I do is that I get these consulting jobs and then I convert them directly into investments. So whenever I want to invest, basically I get a job. So I work plus hours and I work on the weekends in order to to finance my investments. At the same time, whatever job I get, that job would have to be really linked to startups. So I advise them or I mentor them, then I get paid on that, and then I convert that directly into investments. So that's basically how I started. And I'm planning to keep going through that. So currently I invest around 10 to 20% of my income, and I'm planning to keep that as I go. So as much as my income grows, my investments would be growing. It's a passion of mine, so we'll see.
That's impressive. To be honest with you, I've not come across somebody who has the same spirit as you do, or who is aggressively looking out for other young people who are going through the same things that you went through.
you.
What do you look for when you are going to invest in a company? What sort of excites you? What is it that you're looking out for you to put your money there? Are there things that you say, hey, for me to invest this amount of money, you have to meet a certain benchmark? What are those things that you look out for?
Yes, exactly. So I look for real entrepreneurs who are looking to solve real problems. In Africa, we still have a lot of problems, specifically with supply chain. That's really the basis of our economy. So having the opportunity to work with entrepreneurs and also supporting them along the line into establishing that basis, that infrastructure to solve a real issue that a lot of people have is what really inspires me. So I'm looking for impact, like a solution that would impact the maximum number of people. I'm looking at entrepreneurs who have the passion necessary. Basically, I don't care if they are first-time entrepreneurs or whatever. I mean, what's important for me is that they're really taking their time to build an idea and to build a solution that would impact a lot of people, like a real-time solutions. That said, I don't invest in things that I don't understand or things that I don't think would be impacting a lot of people. And yeah, for example, like the companies that I invested in, currently are financial technologies. I've invested in a couple of agricultural technologies in Nigeria, health tech also in Nigeria, and also supply chain, because these are the industries that I understand the most, and these are the industries that impact the bottom of the pyramid, which is kind of conditioned for me, like really how to impact the bottom of the pyramid. To give you a quick example, one of the companies that I'm really, really proud of is currently in Nigeria. It's called Winage Farms, and it's founded by Nigerian entrepreneurs that are really hustling to create a good solution for farmers. Not only, not the big farmers or commercial farmers. We're talking now about the smallholder farmers that are really taking a hit in terms of prices, the fuel prices, the prices of inputs, etc. So this startup, I started with them. I was advising them for about a year or so. And I ended up investing and also getting other investors to join our round. We just raised around $500,000. We're actually going quite fast, and the impact that they're making is absolutely big. So what I've done with them is that I've partnered with them to create a foundation that would also help the smallholder farmers in northern Nigeria get access to healthcare and also get access to education for their children. So the foundation currently is operating. It's called the Winage Foundation, and we are working together to make things, better for the farmers personally. So these are kind of the solutions that we're really looking at. I might give you other examples, but I think we're limited by time.
When I first heard about you, people said that there is something about you that is fascinating in a sense that you are one of those people who wants to see things happen on the African continent, things done by young Africans, and you are even encouraging other people like you to invest in startups in Africa. What does it take?
I think that's really important, Paul, and thank you for mentioning that. So more than 60-70%, I think, are youth around Africa. So we have a lot of youth. Yes, on our own or individually, we can't invest in startups because the ticket might be too high. But combined, if we combine our efforts, we can help startups and help entrepreneurs as a whole. So when you go throughout your journey, there are people that are meant to be entrepreneurs, really good in operations, really good in strategy, but there are other people that are meant to be investors. My issue now with the younger generation is that we kind of think very short term, and we don't think quite long term to actually give away or or assist the entrepreneurs in our own generation. For me, it takes a lot of commitment. It takes a lot of hard work, definitely a lot of hard work, because even to be able to afford a ticket, you need to work plus hours. And it also takes a lot of patience, because you would be working with a lot of entrepreneurs in different industries, and you'd be immersed in their problems, immersed in their happiness. Whenever they're happy, you're happy. Whenever they're really inside a lot of problems, you'd be inside those problems as well. There are a lot of times that I found myself here in Morocco calling a truck driver in Kenya because of a few issues that's happened there. So, and actually that built me also as a person or as a businesswoman. That really built me, and it allowed me to really, to be more conversant and to have that aptitude to talk with a lot of people and also learn through a lot of industries. But in the same time, I ended up helping a lot of people that I'm really, really proud of. So yeah, to answer your question, it needs a lot of patience. It needs a lot of commitment. It means really, because for us as young people, we tend to really look at other things. Look to maybe to get a really good car or get a really good house. So I don't know what other what young people look at now, but I think looking at the bigger picture and looking to impact the people more is, at least for me, it's much more important. And what I'm currently doing is I'm trying to encourage a new generation of a new generation of investors, like a new generation, for millennials and Gen Z to really assist into angel investing.
When I first talked to you, you told me that there are certain things that you don't do. For example, you don't own a car, you just walk everywhere. Whatever money you get, you invest it in some of these startups. Help me understand your mindset or your kind of thinking. What led you to that kind of thinking?
Yeah, I can tell you, Paul, that my parents are not happy by my financial decisions. Yes, I don't actually own a car and I don't really put money into consumption. So I try to limit myself in my consumption as much as I can. Yes, I'm comfortable living, but I don't really do lavish things. Um, and whatever I have, I particularly, I invest or I do my own consumption or I use it for work or something else. It's For example, I also donate, a lot of my income specifically to foundations that I help create. Just because it assists the whole ecosystem if I know where exactly my money goes to. Um, and yeah, again, this is why I said it takes a lot of patience, because you would see that a lot of people are doing some luxury things that technically you can afford to do, but you can't afford to do it in the end because you're using your money elsewhere. But in the end, when you really look up and see all the impact that you have done, even though it's a really modest impact at this stage, but whenever I look back and I see all the entrepreneurs that I've impacted, or the people that actually at least had at some particular time, I advised, or at least I pushed them go forward, or at least I encouraged, it's better for me than having, I don't know, the best car in the world.
Bring up something very interesting. When people come to you and say, "Hey, this is a risky business. These are risky ventures that you're trying to do." Personally, I've tried to do investing on the side in startups like that, and
Yeah.
I did not. It did not pan out very well. I ended up losing money, but uh, I also talk to a lot of people who have tried to do that. They are like angel investors. They help these companies get off the ground. But along the way, some of these companies don't make it. So if you've invested, let's say, your money, uh, what are the long-term goals? How do you plan to recover that money? Do you buy shares? Are you just giving them money once they start, once they're on their feet walking by themselves, they pay you back? How do you do it?
So, first of all, I gotta tell you that to actually be an angel investor, you should really accept risk, because you're coming to entrepreneurs who are really taking more risk than you, technically speaking, because they're taking risk of their time, of their careers, of their money. Also, they most probably they've put more money, than angel investors. So when you actually come there and join them, the worst thing that you can do is thinking about risk and start really being, shaky around them. You should really feel, or make them feel, that what they're doing is really impactful. So that's number one. We shouldn't really talk about risk a lot when we accept getting into a deal. The second thing, I personally never cry when I lose money. I did lose money a couple of times, but it was completely fine. Like, the companies didn't shut down, but sometimes, there are some mistakes, and entrepreneurs make mistakes. But in the end, it's fine because they learn from those mistakes. Unless the company did not completely shut down, they're still going to move forward. So it's important for me that whenever you invest as an angel investor, because they're called angel investors for a reason. When you decide to invest in a company, you shouldn't really, keep, I don't know, bothering. I would use the word bothering the entrepreneurs each time about your risk level, etc., because it's something that you would accept. And I really encourage anyone who doesn't have a good, who's really risk averse, not to go for the entrepreneur side, because it's really, it is risky, because here you're investing in people. You're not investing in real assets that their value, etc. You're investing in a person, and that person you need to trust. The other thing is that most entrepreneurs that I invest in are entrepreneurs that I personally know. Like I've known for a year at least, and I advise as well. So currently I invest between like in 5 startups per year, just because I want to give them my full time. And when I give them my full time, I also make sure to advise them and also, limit that risk a bit. So we have brainstorming sessions for a couple of hours per week, and we really go through the journey together. So that's quite important for me. The only startup that I invested in, I think after 20 minutes pitch, and I remember that startup very well. That was a Kenyan startup called Zuri Health. And maybe we can talk about that later on, but you can see that there are a lot of startups in the world, in the world and specifically in Africa, that are really convincing that their solution is really good. And then you see the entrepreneur pitching there and trying to really, you can see that they're really trying to make a change. Of course, you would put your money into it and then you'd forget about it. You wouldn't really keep following them all the time. So all you can do then is support. So yeah, to answer the question, I'm not really risk averse, and I'm not gonna cry if my money went away, because at least that would have supported a few entrepreneurs then. How I do it in my personal finance is that I told you, like I have my personal, I diversify my income, and there's a specific income pool that is the only one that go into investments. So that's the way that made me also comfortable that if that is lost, it's fine. I lost a few hours of work, but I'm not gonna keep crying about it like if it happens like that. So yeah.
You're investing. How much money do you typically invest in a small startup?
So I invest between $10,000 and $50,000 for now. My sweet spot is around between $20,000 and $30,000, but I can go up to $50,000 if things go well. I also have a network of investors that, for example, investors from the United States who want to invest in Africa but still do not understand the market very well, that top up my investments whenever I invest in a startup, which I think is actually quite good. So I select startups on my own. I actually receive a lot of pitch decks just through LinkedIn. I'm also part of multiple angel groups like Aidi Ventures, which is a really good angel group in Nigeria. And in the same time, since I advise the GIZ program, I work with more than 100 startups per year. So I work with them, I get to know the entrepreneurs well, and then I select the startup that I think I can actually invest in and continue the journey with them. My investment style is also long-term. I don't think about exit whenever I do invest, honestly. Like I think I can even stay with the startup forever. At least, that's my thinking. I never think about the exits from the start. We just go through the journey, and I just consider myself like an annex to that, like a resource that the founder would have to calm him down, to support him, to brainstorm with him whenever it's possible. And there's one thing that I always tell my entrepreneurs is that they can call me whenever they want. I even receive calls at 5 a.m. and it's completely fine. Like we don't have any barriers, and since we have the same age, they talk to me like they talk to a friend. They open up to me. There are even some who cry to me, and it's completely fine. So that's one thing that I wanted to encourage is when you invest with an entrepreneur, you kind of you provided support. It is more than the money that came. And it goes a long way.
There are a lot of young women who would like to be in this startup space, but unfortunately, when you look around, whether it's in North Africa, East Africa, Central Africa, Southern Africa, these startups are mainly run by young males, predominantly male-dominated, so to speak. Have you run into some startups that are run by women who are also going through the same issues that some of these men are going through? And if so, how would you advise a group of young women with a startup who are looking to make their mark in this marketplace?
Actually, I have. Remember when I told you the startup that pitched to me for 20 minutes in Kenya, and I ended up writing a check right in the moment? Yeah, that was run by a woman. Her name is Daisy Idaho, and her startup is a health tech called Zuri Health. and she's absolutely amazing that I completely, she pitched to me for 20 minutes and I told her I'm in. There are a lot of women-led startups that are doing incredible things in Africa and having the same kind of impact. I myself have seen that there's a discrepancy between the male, the male-led startups and the female-led startups. But luckily, things are changing, and I think it's just a cultural thing that males are predominantly more, more keen on taking the risks than females do. But things are really changing. There are more entrepreneurs that are females, there are more investors that are females, and I don't think that's good. That's a problem at all. At least for my take, like I don't even find any difference. Well, considering the fact that I'm a woman as well, but in all cases, like I really don't think that there's any difference. And as a woman investor as well, there is absolutely no difference about how the ecosystem perceives us. Absolutely no difference. I think these things are in the past. I'm not sure about the experiences of other people, of course, but I'm just talking from my experience and the experience of people that I know.
What makes you tick, stand out? You are at this age. A lot of people have a lot of respect for you because of what you do and what you're involved in. What's that one thing that makes you stand out?
First of all, I'm really humbled, honestly, and I think there isn't really something that would make me particularly stand out in other people in the world, but I would just say, or other females in Africa, but I would just say, my commitment towards making a change, the fact that I'm also patient with how things are, and the fact that I'll try my best to see impact works. So that's basically it. Again, I'm quite humbled by actually seeing this, and I really have a lot of respect for entrepreneurs and fellow investors around Africa. And I think how we can do this, and how we can see the impact going is to work together and make things work. There are a lot of gaps in the market. So you can see that a lot of people are trying to fill in different gaps. And I'm honored to actually be part of those people, and we will try my best.
You as an investor, what challenges do you run through when you look at the landscape of startups, the challenges that we have on the continent? Obviously, you go through all that stuff before you make a commitment or you make an investment in a company. So when you talk to some of these entrepreneurs who are just starting out, what is it that they are concerned about? Is it the capital? Is it the idea? Or it's bringing whatever they are working on to the marketplace?
I can tell you that the first thing that the entrepreneurs and even myself find struggling is infrastructure. Infrastructure in Africa. I mean, you can even believe that there are some, there's some African places that still do not have electricity on. There are some neighborhoods, of course, there are even some regions, if you talk about Central Africa also, and even Nigeria, that don't have electricity, that don't have a really good speedy internet. So that's actually one of the issues, that when we're talking about technology, we need, of course, internet, because we're talking about things that are scalable, needs to be on the web. So internet is a huge issue. I think what entrepreneurs also find frustrating is, the fact that infrastructure is not there. But even worse, the fact that we're trying to adapt technology to every single thing. But here in Africa, there are some solutions that don't need technology to work. Like, we don't absolutely need to have technology in order to make that thing work. And for example, supply chain. We have supply chain, agriculture industries, for example, that might need solutions that don't have technology on them, that might not have, might not be very scalable. And here, unfortunately, we have some investors who are really, looking for scalability, which is not, it's not a big issue, because you're really looking for a high exit multiple, and that needs some scalability. But in order to fix some real economies, we need to work at the basis, first of all. And I've seen a lot of entrepreneurs, especially in the agriculture, supply chain, logistics areas, are finding it a bit frustrating, because they're trying to build a solution that needs a large amount of capex, of investments. But they're finding it hard to actually get the support needed, either financially or non-financial, because their solution is not readily scalable. So I think that's one of the frustrations that we have. Also, finding tech talents. It's something that I've heard a lot of times. Although I think things are changing, like Nigeria now and Kenya are becoming the tech hubs of Africa, so I think it will be easier to find tech talents. Even here in Morocco, we have just, we have onboarded the school that, that is there to promote technology and even to train more tech talents. So that is going to be fixed. But the one thing that is really important to me is really to build the infrastructure of tomorrow. In order to do that, we shouldn't really rely on the public sector to do it on its own. We should really cooperate between the private and the public sector. And this needs investors who are patient enough to actually give their capital to startups who might not be as technologically advanced or might not be very scalable. That's what I can say.
Who inspires you?
All right, so that's really a good question, Paul, because there are a lot of things that really inspire me, and most of them are really human, like seeing people really try their best and work. I've been going around Africa for a while, which I really appreciate. And so just last month I was in Kenya, and I'm also planning to, and I was in Nigeria like a year ago, and I'm also planning to go to Nigeria next month. So the first time I went to Nigeria, I went to see the startups that now have become unicorns, but they were at the seed stage at that particular time. And I was heavily inspired by their stamina. Like I can see them working, just having a whiteboard and a few computers, trying their best to really work on the solutions. And now their dreams came true, which really I found really inspiring at that particular point. I remember also visiting farmers as part, of a due diligence that I have done in Nigeria, and those farmers, they basically didn't have anything that can help them. Didn't have the infrastructure needed. They didn't have any funding to buy their inputs. Didn't have anything. But you can see that they're working extra hard. They're working very, very hard, despite the fact that they don't have what they need. And people like this really inspire me. Instead of waiting for some person X or for some public entity to give us so we can live, they create a life. And it's something that really inspires me to move forward. So these are the kind of people that I would like to serve. This is why I really focus on the bottom of the pyramid, because I can see them trying their best despite all the hurdles, despite all the challenges, and which is one of the reasons why I really love Africa and I really want to keep working there. So if you'd ask me what makes me wake up every morning and do what I do, it's that. I want to see them, get better, and I want to see the conditions get better.
What advice would you give to a young lady who looks up to you and says they want to be in your shoes, or they want to tap into your brain and be the best that they can be? What would you tell them?
First of all, work hard. I think this is like the simple thing that everyone would say. Work extra hard, like harder than you can ever imagine, because it's really important to put yourself in the mindset that you would have to work hard. And if things don't work, it's fine, but at least you've done what you needed to do. The second thing is never take things personally. All of us, we weren't born yesterday, and it's not really given that you reach where you want to reach, or that you basically can do what you want to do. People sometimes can become hurdles, and not only people, like there are other conditions that can become hurdle. One thing that really helped me is not take things personally at all. Like I consider my job is doing what I do, but I never care about if what I have done received the reaction that is needed, because that's not, I can't really control that. The third thing is what always my mother taught me, is never think about something that you cannot control. If I can control something, I think about it and I spend nights thinking about it.
That's me right there.
Exactly. I don't care about it, because whatever I do, it's never going to change. And I find that the mistake that a lot of young people and even elderly people are doing currently is that they're overthinking about things that they cannot control, they cannot change. And that's, for me, that's really going to put you, in a stance that you cannot go further. So these are the three things. I actually welcome to talk to anyone who wants to discuss how we can grow angel investing, etc. I myself am learning. So when I started, I just started going on LinkedIn, and whenever I found someone who has angel investor or venture capital, I send blank emails. Can you please mentor me? I want to do this. Can you please mentor me? And I can tell you that if I sent 100 emails, it wasn't 100, but if I sent 100 emails, only like 20% would actually respond to me. And it's fine. because there are some people who would really, instead of thinking about the 20 that actually gave me time, they would be thinking about the 80 that didn't respond to them, which I think is really the hurdle in these things. So yeah, have stamina, work hard, talk to people.
Where do you see yourself and going in the next 5 years? How many companies do you have in your horizon? What should people be looking out for when they see you fly into Ghana, for example?
We're currently working on a project on Self-Mode. We will be launching soon, but you can say that an angel fund, quite a big angel fund, is going to be launched very soon that would serve these African countries. And, we will definitely announce it quite soon. But in 5 years, I just see myself keeping investing, keeping my investments with startups around Africa. In 5 years, I can see myself visited. I mean, one thing that I always wanted is in 5 years, I would have visited all the 54 countries in Africa. So that's something that I'll come back to you and let you know in 5 years when I have done visiting all the 54 countries and also invested in at least one startup in each one of the 54 countries. Because I truly believe in the potential of all the 54 countries, despite the differences and despite maybe the political instabilities in some of these countries. So yeah, but whatever would happen to be professionally in the next 5 years, I would just keep it to God. What can I say? I'm not even thinking. I don't think that term in 5. I don't think that long term in terms of my professional career. But I know that for sure that my personal investments would be growing, and I would have visited and assisted startups in all 54 countries in Africa. It's kind of my dream.
I think that's remarkable. You can do that. The fact that you are focused on the continent, I think it's doable. You've proven that you can do this. So I don't think anything should stop you.
Thank you so much, Paul. I'm really going to try my best. And, let's see how it goes.
I mean, you are the kinds of people who, who are making things happen. You are helping a lot of people. And guess what? The impact is not just felt by those people that you're investing in. It spreads across. So I think that's a great thing that you're doing.
Thank you so much, Paul. I mean, nothing would stop us, honestly.
Yeah.
And unless if we die.
No, you can't die. Don't worry. You're not going to die anytime soon. Yeah. Yeah. Well, on that note, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Paul, and thanks for having me.
We want to know what you think about Aya Zahanani, a young African angel investor on a mission to fuel the continent's next generation of startups. Tell us what you think about her commitments in the comment section below. And of course, don't forget to like and follow and subscribe to Paul Ndiho on Substack, X, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Threads, Blue Sky, YouTube, and Spotify.